Now, NATO defence ministers will meet in Brussels today to talk about the ongoing support package to Ukraine after Russia's significant escalation of the conflict this week.
Russian missiles have hit multiple cities in Ukraine over the past couple of days, killing 19 people and wounding 97. Sites include non-military targets such as parks and tourist hotspots.
Well, Home Affairs and Defence Editor for The Express, Michael Knowles, is here in the studio. Good to see you this morning. What do we expect from this meeting? A sort of status quo or an escalation in what NATO countries can actually do?
So I think we'll see two things, certainly today and tomorrow. First off, the NATO allies want to agree an increase of ammunition and stockpiles for the alliance as a whole. Obviously, lots of countries have sent vast amounts to Ukraine. So I think over the next couple of days, we'll see them send a message to industry that we're going to need plenty over the next few years and set in to support Ukraine for the foreseeable future.
And who's been coming out quickly and pledging further support? I know Germany has and the United States. Where are we in the UK on the NATO pledges?
Well, I am told that we're likely to announce something over the next couple of days, which is promising. We've not seen any announcements yet on air defence systems. That's where a lot of the attention is at the moment. We have got air defence systems in Poland. So it'll be interesting to see whether there's any announcements that way on Ukraine.
It'd be interesting because presumably if we use air defence systems that are based somewhere else, that then causes problems, does it, if they're fired out of if they're effectively NATO weapons fired out of a NATO country?
Yeah. Well, you could assume that Russia would
then retaliate
and say that that is NATO getting involved in the conflict. Now, NATO allies don't want to be drawn into this. So,
well, that being said, NATO's Secretary-General yesterday saying that if energy supplies were targeted specifically, then the NATO allies would be united and determined in their response, making it perfectly clear then that this is a red line.
Well, we've seen in recent days, haven't we, that Russia has been targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure ahead of the winter. And NATO allies want to ensure that Vladimir Putin cannot target the energy infrastructure in the way that he has before. He's used energy as a hybrid warfare mechanism over the last few months, as we've all seen with the increase in the gas prices.
What are we to make of the nuclear threat? Because he's repeated his nuclear threats over the last few weeks, Putin, that is. We've been told it's not a bluff. Certainly it's been taken seriously by a lot of people, including the Armageddon phrase used by President Biden. And yet, GCHQ, who monitor all of these things, don't seem to have any indication that he's doing anything on the nuclear front.
Well, that's a fairly consistent message across Western sources, to be frank. They've said for months now that they've not seen any indication that Vladimir Putin is imminently going to consider this option. A lot of it is appeasing to his domestic hardline base. Joe Biden in the last few hours has mentioned that he doesn't think Vladimir Putin would order a nuclear strike.